Hello historians, welcome to Decoding the Test and a quick look at the modern age. Questions on the modern age actually make up 25% of the test, so obviously there's a lot we need to cover, and we're not going to do it all in this video. If you want to guarantee a higher level score, know the details that you see on the slide in front of you. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at one of the areas in which the test has focused on again and again and again over the years. Now, with the modern age, that encompasses a lot of different categories, from Ronald Reagan all the way through more generic things like American culture. Well, today we're going to talk about modern economics. How is the test focused on modern economics? And it really boils down to two concepts. The first is American legislation to protect American jobs. The second is the idea of globalization of economics. The idea that economics is becoming something that involves the entire globe and not just America. Now, these two things might seem to work at odds, and indeed sometimes they do. Most of the questions revolve around some form of legislation to protect American jobs or bring money into the United States. For instance, this one. Here's a quote from a senator in California who passed legislation that would give tax breaks to Hollywood film companies if they filmed in the United States. And this was inspired because the filming companies were going to other countries to shoot films because it was cheaper. Well, with tax breaks, it becomes cheaper to film in the United States. The question is, why did this senator support this legislation? And the answer is answer choice H. The loss of domestic production work would result in fewer job opportunities for Americans. If films were shooting outside the United States, that means that all the people who would work on that film are no longer American. They are Spanish, Canadian, wherever it happens to be, wherever they happen to be filming. So this is a question about supporting American jobs. Now, you notice that it's not giving the name of the legislation. Most of these questions are going to be fairly vague like this and just need you to know the concept of supporting or protecting American jobs. Now, this question does involve a specific piece of legislation. If you get a question that is going to be on a specific economic policy, I can almost guarantee you it will be the North American Free Trade Agreement. It's called Nafta. What did Nafta do? Nafta basically took away all tariffs, all taxes on anything going to Mexico or Canada, and vice versa. What was the point of Nafta? The point of Nafta is basically, again, to raise money for Americans. That if we're sending stuff to Mexico without tariffs, without taxes, that means Mexicans are buying more. It means Canadians are buying more American goods. And it also means that American truckers are being paid to transport those goods. So it's supporting American jobs. So if you do see a specific economic policy, it's going to be on the North American Free Trade Agreement, which involves the three North American countries: United States, Canada, and Mexico. Here is a notation talking about in 1979, the government gave the Chrysler Corporation $1.5 billion. Why? Again, to protect U.S. jobs. That is the overarching theme, protecting U.S. jobs. Will you need to know that we bailed out Chrysler in 1979? No, that's not going to be a specific you need to memorize, but you do need to be able to recognize that it was protecting American jobs. Now, this is the final question I want to look at. It's a diagram talking about international free trade policies. So basically the idea of NAFTA, but spread worldwide. Globalization. If there are no tariffs, no protective tariffs, no protective taxes, then anyone could trade with anyone. What goes in the middle of this diagram? What goes in the middle is increased business competition. The more businesses have to compete, the more they actually try to make their products better and also cheaper. And that's the final end of this little puzzle, lower prices for consumer products. What do you need to know about modern economics? basically the one key aspect is the protection of American jobs. If you get a question where you don't remember the legislation it's talking about, it's fine. Look for the answer where it's protecting American jobs. You also need to know the North American Free Trade Agreement, Nafta, and what it did. If there's no questions, comments, or screams of angst, I will see you in the next video.